What is happening, y'all? We're back at it again with another video. Today's video, I'm gonna be talking about You Owe It to Yourself in 2025 Powerful Motivational Speech by hormozi. So we'll see how good this speech is. I'm really hoping it's good. Really hoping I can get some valuable insight within this speech. I just woke up. I'm having my first coffee right now, so I might be a little bit tired. Coffee is still hot, and I'm just exhausted from last night. I stayed up a little bit too later than what I wanted to. I still got 8.5 hours in, so that's totally fine by me. So I gotta hit my quota today. I didn't hit my quota yesterday, so let's get this show on the road. Hold up, I need to do my music really quick. You know what? I'll take this one. You're no longer your man. You were. You warrior. And be a. Okay, I'm recording. I'm live. So let's get this show on the road. And if you want to come back to this video, like and save so you can always come back to it. Subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you know whenever I post. And today I'm going to hit the quota of 15 to 30 videos per day. So let's get this show on the road.
When no one's watching, I work harder.
Well said. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, so I'll be right back. I'll go to the bathroom and then I record. I like this already. When nobody's watching, I work harder. I'll react to that. So I'll be right back. Peace. Alright, make sure I'm not recording anymore or not. Oh shit. It's like I'm recording right now. When no one is watching, I work harder. Without nobody watching, nobody sees the skills, nobody sees the discipline, nobody sees the pain, nobody sees the agony that I went through to work harder. Because when I work harder and nobody's watching, that it's even better, because then that means nobody sees, nobody notices, nobody does and looks at the reflection point. And when we reflect, when we do more, when we act more, when we work harder, and that is how we know that we are trying to get better. So let's continue.
Than when they're watching. And thinking about it like that has given me this persistent and ever-present scorecard or third party that's like, no one's watching, which means now you have to work.
Because when nobody's watching, then that means then you have to work. Otherwise, the work will never get done. Otherwise, the work will always have more meaning. The work will always be there. The work is waiting to be done. Which is why I stated those three things. Because when nobody is watching, then that means now you have to get the work done, because if not, it will never get done. So hopefully that makes some sense.
Otherwise, you're full of shit. The sign of success is the hate that you get.
The sign of success is the hate that you get along the way. So don't bend the knee and go into the conformity of your own standards, because you have your own standards. And don't bend the hate or bend the conformity. Hold. I can't be tired, y'all. I have to match my quota today. struggling to stay afloat. You know how crazy I go.
Along the way, the only person who can judge you on your success is you. You're the
only person that can judge you on your success is you. Hold. So when you judge yourself, make sure you believe it. Make sure you have higher standards. Make sure you have an understanding, knowing that you will get better. Knowing that the success is the hate you get along the way. So don't allow others to mend your life, to bend the conformity, of your own standards. Because we all have our own standards, we have our own ways, and we have our own belief systems. So use those 3 pillars as the main part of success. Excuse me. And excuse me. So don't allow other people to bend the conformity, bend the hate, bend the belief. Because only you have one life to live. So don't allow other people's success to drag you down with them or their failure. Okay? You have one path. And that path is to continue on moving forward. Okay? Understood?
only one who knows how much left in the tank you really had. When you're stagnant,
Excuse me, I keep on yawning. It's the most annoying thing out there. Only you know who has much left in the tank that you really had. Whatever that's left in the tank for content, for whatever it is you're doing, for the business, only you know with what you are trying to do and trying to say. And when you know you're trying to say, then you can continually on moving forward. And when you continually on moving forward, then you know how much left in the tank you truly have left. So don't allow other people to drag you down with the failures, continue with their successes, and only you really know how much left in the tank you truly had. So, don't waste your time, don't waste your energy, and don't waste your persistence. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense, because that makes sense to me.
in a business and you're plateaued and you don't know what to do, it's very painful. When you're declining and you also don't know what to do, it's very painful. And so that means that all conditions of reality are painful. If pain is a prerequisite for reality, then it means it's just a signal that we are alive, rather than...
If pain means it's just a signal that we are alive. If pain means it is just a signal that we are alive, then we know with what we are trying. Okay, give me a minute. We know with what we are trying to do, become, say, do, think, and act. And through this action, through this belief, through this pain of being alive, then we know it is a requisite to building that habit, building that belief system, building that thing. Because we know we are more. And when we are more, we know we can be more. So I'm going to go eat breakfast. I will be back. And I'll see you guys in a bit. What you are truly trying to bring the pain on within your own voice. Okay? Number 1, your own voice and how you see pain. Number 2, how knowing this pain can bring you forthright to better circumstances, to better happenstances, to better belief systems. So let's continue. Mr. Khan, you stated what? Thank you, sir. I have to meet your quota of how many hormozi. Which is why. What is happening? It's been a while. I'm gonna go do my hair, so I'll be right back, and we will get this show on the road. Like, geez Louise, people.
Join us on April 23rd through the 25th for the AI Advantage Summit.
I don't falling down before. Hold on. Does everybody understand that there are for the person that does what currently? And the person that bitches who out? What, Bluebird? Yes, I'm recording. Okay, so you'll be fine. It's okay. Hey, breathe. Breathe. Okay? So, I will do enough work that there's nothing left to be done. Without knowing how much work that needs to get done, for me that's recording 15 to 30 videos per day, which is very difficult. And I will do enough work that there is nothing left to be done. So let's continue.
Everyone believes in the American dream until it comes true.
I agree with that. I believe that because everyone believes in the American dream until it all comes true. And when it comes true, because when you owe it to yourself about building the American dream, because they all believe it until that dream comes true. When that dream comes true, nothing can stop you. Nothing can dictate you. Nothing can reroute you because you believe in that dream, because you own that dream. And when you own that dream, you feel success. You feel the dignity that is being pulled from the dreams, from the identity, from the shifts. And when we know that we, knock on wood, that we know that this American dream will come true, and it will come true sooner or later. And when we know, when we are trying to build that American dream, we must build it within ourselves before we build it within each other. Much more to lose, sad but true. Way keep all of me under. So, as of right now, I'm running off of 270 milligrams of caffeine. I still have to have my 2 coffees in. I'm trying to be completely honest, completely truthful, completely myself for this video and for the next few videos. Because once I'm myself, once I'm unique, once I'm that character, then nothing will be able to stop me. Nothing. Nothing will. So let's continue.
And I remember because what had happened was
I don't care if I'm ready or not.
everybody when I was sleeping on the gym floor, right? Like, you know, I was the underdog. You know, my clients were all like, "Oh, good for you. You know, you're going after your dream." And they'd see my blanket and my pillow in the corner of the gym, and they knew.
It's his blanket and pillow in the corner in gym, and they would know that he is sleeping there. I know that because I've listened to this podcast multiple times, this episode multiple times. And once they know that he was sleeping there, they didn't give a fuck. And when they didn't give a fuck, they didn't care how much it was, they didn't care what he was doing, what he was living. Because when you sleep on your own, in your business, in your creativity, because you are so amountful in debt, that is when you need to push, need to persevere, need to do more than what other people are doing. That's why I try to post 5 to 15 videos per day, because without posting, I will get nowhere. And when I get nowhere, then you may never know where this next video will lead you to. Which is the best part of my personal opinion, is the unknown and is the dream that is waiting to happen. Is that without knowing, you might never know where this life will lead you to. And where this life will lead me to is the unknown and the void that is waiting to happen. So let's continue. I'm trying to finish all this video in one take, so I'll try my best. I'll try the hardest that I can do. So let's continue.
I was sleeping there, and it was evident, you know, I lived there, and that everybody was like pro me, and then people would come in, they sign up like, I'm gonna support you, right? And then within 9 months, I had hired people and I had a manager, and I pulled up, and I remember I walked in the lobby, and all the same people were like, "Ah, boss man's here. Oh, you're not too good for us now, right?" And I remember being so jarred by the experience, and I was like, "You guys rooted for me," and I was like, "And now what?"
You guys rooted for me. And when they root for you, they want you to persevere. They want you to try. They want you to do more. They want you to be more, because you know you can be more. And when you can be more, then you know that you can do more, think more, act more, become more, because they see that potential. They see that unwavering detail that is waiting to happen, that waiting dream that is waiting to happen. Which is why I will try not to stop posting 5 to 15 videos per day, because if I stop, then I might never know where this life will lead me to. And where I think this life will lead me to is the unknown. It's the void. It's waiting to happen, waiting to be stated, waiting to be acted on.
I did what you said you were rooting for me to do. And that was when I realized that people want you to do well, but not better than them.
He realized that people want you to do well, but not better than them. Because when you do well, when you do more than what you are, more than what you say, more than what you believe, then you might never know where this life will lead you to. Hold on. And when people want you to do more and well, then you might never know where this life will lead you to, which I think is the best part about the unknown and the void, is that when people want you to do well but not better than them, they see that potential, they see that version, they see that dream, they see that realization that you are going through. And when you go through that realization or that dream or that progression, then you know that you will become more. And when you become more, then people want you to do well, want you to do well, but not better than them. Hopefully that makes sense, because it makes sense to me, trying to dumb it down for you all. So let's continue.
The reason the goal isn't coming at you fast enough is because every person you've seen accomplish the goal, you only see it the moment they accomplish it. And the reason that it hurts so much when people are like, must be nice, oh, that happened overnight, is because every time you fail, no one cares and no one sees.
Hold on. Let me take an acid reflux pill. Because, of course, when you have acid reflux, it's not fucking fun when you have it. Which I can just feel it burning. burning. And it's not good when I need to record. So let me pop a pill. Tastes metallic-y. Oh. So, let me think about this for another 10 seconds. Because when every time you fail, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Nobody wants you to do more. Nobody wants you to do better because they are only rooting for you until you become more yourself. And they only want you to do better because they see the potential. They see the dream. They see the realization. Because nobody cares when nobody sees you as becoming better. And when nobody sees you, then you may never know where this life will lead you to. And where my life will lead me to is the unknown. It's the void. It's waiting for it to happen. It's waiting for it to say. It's waiting for it to do. It's waiting for it to become. Because when nobody sees you, nobody fucking gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Nobody believes you because that dream has yet to be unwavering and yet to fucking happen. So, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take you decades upon decades of trying, of unwavering dignity, of unwavering truth, of unwavering work, which you are tracking in decades. Other people are tracking in months. You are tracking within 10 years to 20 years. I hope when I'm 25, I retire by the age of 25. Because what I want to do is I want to make enough money on school where it can support me. And then I want to become a community service officer. That's what I want to become. And I want a lake house with 2 jet skis. That's my dream. That's my dream at the end of the day. Girls' lives get shorter, we know sex, drugs. I have a lot more to add on to this, so I'll try to dumb it down and sum it up for you all. Okay? Who's getting arrested? Are you fucking with me? Colonel Langley. Paige. When I mean you protect everyone, you protect everyone. Okay? This is the new girl that I've been catcalling, so if you hear her fucking name or Elizabeth fucking, you stand up for that. Okay? Understand that. Colonel Langley and Captain. I mean Colonel and Colonel. We both know that you two are listening to me. So when I state Paige Dronstan and Elizabeth Bruce, you will watch over their backs. Understood? So listen for the voices of Langley and all the other subordinates that disobey a direct order coming from me. Understood? Babe Grove Captain. State Trooper Captain. FBI Colonel. Colonel Langley. So, the only time that you win is the only time when they actually notice, and when the only time that you win is when they notice that you actually are winning. You're doing, you're achieving, you're becoming more, you're doing more because you want that persistence, you want that energy, you want that vibe, you want that feeling of you winning. So don't allow other people to obligate themselves. Don't allow them to decredit yourself or do more or think more or act more because you know you can be more, which means you have to be more. Because when you win, they're doing more, that they want to become more because they see that unwavering self-confidence. They see that unwavering detail. They see that story. They see that perspective. They see that identity. Because if you win and you reinforce the point, you are more. you are doing more. You are achieving more. You're acting like yourself because you know you can be more. Okay? So don't allow yourself, don't allow other people to recognize that you are losing. Because when you are winning, you fucking win. You feel me? Because if we do not win, then we might never know where this life will lead us to. And where this life will lead us to is the unknown, wavering passion of you winning, of you achieving, of you doing, of you acting, of you believing. Because without us believing, we may never know where this life will lead us to. Okay? So when we win, we fucking go, we fucking do, we fucking act, we fucking say more because we know we can be more. Okay? And when we are more, then we know that we can achieve, do, activate, do more. Because when we do more, then that is how we achieve more. And how we achieve more, then that is how we are acting like we can be more. Okay, so leave a like and save to come back to this video. Subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you know whenever I post. Let's continue.
Looks like an overnight success means that the 10 years where they sucked, no one saw. And so
When the 10 years when they sucked, nobody fucking saw. And so that fear that you have is bemoaning and degrading and putting an actual feeling on you. And when you feel that fear, that is when you go. That is when you do. That is when you are more. Because when you are more, you can achieve more. You can do more. You can think more. Because that fear is degrading. It's regrading. It's calling you insane. So, when in 10 years when you sucked and nobody fucking saw, that means that you are achieving. That you are doing more because you are acting like you can be more. And when you can act that you are more, then that 10 years where that sucked and you got no fucking proof, you know that you can be more because you are trying to achieve the more, the unwavering detail, the unwavering dignity. And when you try to be more, then you may never know where this life will lead you to. Okay? Just think about that for a second. Just think about that for a quick minute. Okay?
the fear that you have about people noticing the fact that you fail.
That deserves a round of applause. A round of applause. Why I state that is because, and so the fear that you have about people noticing that the fact that you fucking failed. Failure is the progression of time, of pain, of success. Because without the passage of time, we can't enjoy shit. We can't enjoy anything because the fact that you failed is the monstrous fact that you are achieving more, that you are acting more, that you are wanting to become more. And when you want to become more, that is when you think that you are more. Okay? So the fear that you have about people noticing that the fact that you fucking failed, then that is the point. That is the middle point. That's the understanding. That's the belief. That's the thing that you are waiting to be wavering about. So, the fear that you have about the fact that people noticing that you in fact failed is the unwavering story. It's the unwavering point. It's the unwavering identity shift that you are trying to shift from. Okay?
Is ridiculous because they're barely going to notice when you succeed. The difficulty with personal development and entrepreneurship is that you don't know when the end is coming, but
Excuse me. Sorry. I had a cough and burp at the same exact time. It was not fun. Everybody wanna know. Everybody wanna know. Everybody wanna know. Everybody wanna Everybody wanna who that is, 'cause girls on drugs always wanna have fun. So I was trying to find, always down to turn on, always down to take it there, always on a murder scene, always on a shit somewhere. I don't know you're not afraid to get some.
You still need to fight. And the only certain
You still need to fight because you know you have that dream, you know you have that vision, you know you have that goal. And when you have that vision, dream, and goal, then you know you can become more. And when you want to become more, then that is how you learn to achieve more, to do more, to think more, to act like you are more. And when you are more, that is when you learn, that is when you achieve, that is when you get the goal mindset ready. So don't allow other people to dictate, to change, to identify within that goal, within that understanding, within that perspective. Because you know you are more. And when you are more, that is when you do more. That is when you act more. That is when you become more. So that's all I have for you guys. I will come back. I got to do something with my dad real quick. For you, it'll be 1 second. For me, it might be an hour. So let's get this shit done because I need to finish this video. Because
that I can
we are only 4 minutes in out of this 21-minute video. So let's get this show on the road. And for you, it'll be 1 second. For me, it might be a few hours. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Like and save to come back to this video. Subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you know whenever I post. And I'll see you guys in a bit. Peace. What is happening, y'all? I just figured it out. It's been
give you is that
about 4 minutes. Hold on. About 4 minutes for a 53-minute video. That's mind-boggling to me. That's like a 2-part video. All in one. All in fucking one. So we are gonna finish every single video that we do all the way fucking through. And I will not stop until I hit 5 million followers. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and save to come back. Subscribe and turn on that notification bell to know whenever I post. And please check out my school. I'm keeping it free for the next 15 days? 10 days? I don't know how many days are in April. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing here, boys. So let me move this up here. Let's get this show on a fucking road. Because we're going to finish this video today, no matter what.
it's the same thing that every other person who got through that period went through. But I think the thing that everyone who's listening lacks is the context on how hard work is, not in that it's complex, but just in that it's a continuous and unending focus.
And how hard work is that it's not that it's complex, but it's just that a continuous of unhearted focus on one thing for a certain period of time. Which is why I will never stop posting content. Which means we must continue. We must move forward. We must do more. We must act more. We must say more because we know we can be more. And when we are more, then nobody will be able to stop us. Nobody besides our past self. I'm shaking right now because I've wanted to talk about this for a very long time. Very long time. Because it's not that it's complex, but it's just a continuous and unrendering focus on one thing for a very, very long period of time. Like I said in the earlier part of this video, is that you are measuring in decades. Other people are measuring in days, weeks, and years. Which is why I will not stop when I'm in college. I will continually on making the best content for you all. The best content for myself. Because I know I can be more. And when I will be more, then that means nobody will be able to stop me. Besides myself. Which is why I want to be a college dropout. Which is why I want to retire by the age of 25. That's my main end goal. From YouTube, content creation, and school. Because I know my school is fantastic. Because I use AI to help me. So let's continue.
Focus on one thing and noticing the details that separate mediocrity from greatness.
Noticing that the thing and noticing the details separates mediocrity from greatness. When you know you can be more, when you know you say you should be more, when you know you believe you could be more, then that is how you know that you are more. That you are more trying to accept, trying to reframe, trying to understand, because you know you could be more.
And if you're like, I don't know what the difference between those two things is, that is the opportunity that hard work reveals.
That is the opportunity that
And most people
accept that without the hard work, without the discipline, without the action, without the unwavering steps, you may never know where this life will lead you to. And where my life will lead me to, I know I can be more. I know I should be more. I know I should be explaining myself a lot more than what I should be going through. Roll it up, smoke it down, I'ma go announce now. On my mind, in my zone, I'ma to the couch now. And the opportunity that hard work reveals is the progression, is the progress, is the dream, is the vision, because you have that vision, you have that dignity, you have that passion. Which means don't allow other people's criticism to outweigh your own. Don't allow other people's standards to outweigh your own. So cut their standards and make your standards higher. Okay? Number 3, don't allow other people's beliefs, visions, and understandings do more than what you could be. Because other people's criticism does not fucking matter. Does not fucking matter. So do more, say more, act more, be more, because you are more. Now understand this, is that when you are more, when you do more, when you think more, those 3 fucking pillars, which 3 also stands for okay, or got him. But it has to be knee down to waist down. So, most people expect that hard work and opportunity reveals that we are trying to do more, that we are trying to say more, that we are trying to act more because we are trying to become more. So let's continue.
Expect that is hard work because that's the hardest they've worked.
And when that's the hardest they've worked, they know that they can be more, that they do more, that they are more, that they can be more. Those 4 pillars that I just stated, you know that you are more because you are trying to become more. You're trying to grow the business. You're trying to grow the mentality. You're trying to grow the perspective. So don't allow other people to downgrade your own criticism. Don't allow other people to believe your own criticism or downgrade your own criticism, because you know you can be more.
Not the amount of hard work that is required in order to get the level of outcome that they say they want or that they expect.
You don't want to get behind. If you're in a business, here's what I tell people. If there's a 36-month countdown, that sounds crazy, but in the next 3 to 10 years, there's going to be more change happening in humanity than we've seen in all of our...
And until you get great, because as soon as you get great at one thing,
Because as soon as you get great at one thing, you become better in all domains. And once you become great in one domain, nobody will stop you. Nobody will reiterate you. Nobody will believe you because they don't believe themselves. They don't see the proof. They don't see the evidence. They don't see the stacks of late nights that you had to fucking go through. Nobody sees the vision. Nobody sees the persistence. Nobody sees the identity because you are trying to become more. And when you become more and when you attack more, then that is how you know that you are more. So don't allow other people to dictate and reiterate whatever it is you are truly going through. So let's continue.
you realize just the tremendous amount of hours and work that it takes to be great at one thing.
And you see the hours, you see the work, and how long it takes to be great at one thing. I don't know how many hours. Ask AI that. That's not a real Dexheimer question right there. That is an AI question. But I'll break it down for you. Whatever you want to be good at, it takes persistence, takes hours, takes consistency, takes unwavering dedication to move the ball forward, to stack up the stacks of reps that you are trying to go through. So let's continue.
And then there's this oh shit moment that I can express personally, which is you realize that there's so few things that you can be great at. And then the discipline comes down.
And there's so many few things that you can be great at, which means when you're great at something, nobody will fucking follow. And when nobody fucking follows, then that means that nobody can stop you. Nobody can dictate you. Nobody can tell you that you are doing wrong because you know you are doing the best that you possibly can. And the discipline comes down to saying that you are trying to learn, achieve, grow, become, realize. And without that realization, you break off the pillar, you break off the saying, you break off the thing that you are trying to become. Understood? Let's continue.
Now to saying, what are the 2 or 3 things that I can be really good at in my life?
What are 2 or 3 things that I can be really good at within my life? Whatever those 2 to 3 things are, don't stop, don't dictate, and don't let criticism change who you fucking are. Because you know you can be more. So do more, act more, believe more, achieve more, attempt more. Because when you make that attempt of failure, of succession, of progression, then you may never know where this life will lead you to. Which is the best part about failure, the unknown, and the void, because it's the future that is waiting to fucking happen. The future that is waiting to bring down your dreams of progression, of your dreams of realization, of your dreams of happenstance. So let's continue.
Because it will take me 5 to 7 years to be exceptional at this one thing. I am okay being a beacon of relentless hard work.
I'm okay with being a beacon of relentless hard work, because without hard work, you will get nowhere. You will see your dreams fail. You'll see your progression fail. You need to know that if you want to be a beacon, you need to be relentlessly hard at those things, at those goals, at those dreams, at those aspirations, because you know you want to be more. And when you know you want to be more, then that is how you learn to become that better version.
And that's the never-ending cycle of excellence.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go charge my Apple Watch. I'll be back. So let's continue.
Oh, I just have to figure out what to do. When I wake up every day, there's only one voice I have to listen to.
And that's myself.
And so then it's like, just do it for me.
That's yourself. Okay? Just had to say that.
Yeah, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. It's one of my favorites. There have been so many times in my life where I knew I needed to do something, and then I filled all this extra time not doing that thing. And then the moment I did it, I was like, wow, that took way less time than I thought it was going to take. And not only that, it took way less time than it took me to delay to actually get to this point. And if I had only started with just doing what I was supposed to do, I could have done 4 or 5 other things that I was also supposed to do by this exact same point. Waking up and then trying to shrink the time between when I wake up and when I start working, and shrinking the time between one task and the next task. Like, you don't need to take 30 minutes of getting ready to start working. Like, you can just start working, because as soon as you get into it, you start pulling the thread and you're like, oh, here it is. And all of the time that I was getting ready to work, I was just using up my best brain power time on things that truly don't move the needle at all. The vast majority of business owners work a fair amount. They just work on the wrong stuff and they do it the wrong way. And so they get so little for their effort that they wonder when they're at home empty-handed in bed, why isn't this working when I am working? But if you define work, at least the way I do, which is output, and in order to get output, it's volume times leverage. So how many times you do the thing times how much you get for each time you do it. And so that is the, do you work smart or do you work hard? It's you do both. You do as many reps as you possibly can, and you do it with the most leverage possible. So if I make 100 phone calls, the leverage that I can have there would be how skilled I am. So if I make 100 calls, I might get 10 times more. And so I worked more, I had more output than somebody who has less skill. But the only way you get skilled is by working more. And so it's this virtuous cycle of doing more and getting better, and then you get more for what you do.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone, but getting in the zone.
I talk about the rule of 100 on steroids, which is something that I learned from a guy who owned 13 or 14 really successful gyms, and he called it open to goal. And he said, yeah. He said, my managers work open to goal. And I was like, what does that mean? It's like, so they work open until they hit their goal. And so sometimes that means they hit their goal by noon and they can cut out. Or that means that they have to go from 5 a.m. until midnight that night, because that's how long it took them to hit the goal. And so I've seen this across a lot of high achievers across domains. So like, I'll keep shooting free shots until I hit 100 free shots. I will run until this happens. I will practice my presentation until I do 0 mess ups, right? Or whatever that output is that you want for quality or quantity. And the more times you do what is required to get what you want, the more times you get what you want. But when no one's watching, I work harder than when they're watching.
When no one is watching, I work harder when they are watching, because when nobody watches, you don't have their criticism, you don't have their things, you have unwavering persistence that you know that you will get done. Because when you work open to goal, you work until you are done with your fucking goal. Understood?
Thinking about it like that has given me this persistent and ever-present scorecard or third party that's like, no one's watching, which means now you have to work because otherwise you're full of shit. And so it's this continuous reinforcing cycle of me and other me holding the whip behind me to see how much I can take. But with each lash of the whip that I take, learning that I can take it and continue to trudge on. As long as you keep going, you bear witness to yourself of what you are capable of. And I find that incredibly satisfying in the trenches of misery when you have to go through it. Hard work is the goal. And so it's not like work hard so that X, because as soon as you have a so that, then the X is the thing. But if the goal is to work as hard as you possibly can, then the only real output we have is who we become along the way. Then it's something that I can win or measure myself against every day in real time throughout the day, which is how hard am I working? Because that is the goal. Because I know that when I look back on my life, the days that I loved the most were days when I had nothing left in the tank. And so then the goal becomes to empty the tank, not where I drive.
Because if you empty the tank, you don't have nothing else left to say. When you have nothing else left to say, then that means you are doing your goals. Okay? I'm trying to make this as short as possible, because we're already an hour into this shit, and I have you make it towards the 10-minute mark.
But just to drive the car as hard as I possibly can. And that means that in the beginning, it's just straightaways and just seeing how high I can rev the engine. But as I become more advanced, it's like, all right, well, now we've got turns, and then it's turns in elevation, and then it's turns in elevation without guardrails because we have risk. And so when I think about how hard I want to work, the interesting thing about that is that the only person who can judge you on your success is you, because you're the only one who knows how much left in the tank you really had. There's this huge time delay between when we start behaving in a way that a winner behaves and when we start winning. And the problem is that the bigger the mountain you're trying to climb, the bigger the W you're trying.
The bigger the mountain you're trying to climb, and that means that you are trying to claim more mountains and claim more beans. Okay?
To get, typically the more delayed it is
Longer the lag.
Yeah, between when you start behaving like a winner and when you start being a winner. And most people don't get the fast enough feedback loop to know that they're on the right path.
And when you don't get the fast enough feedback loop, then you don't know with what you are doing is trying to become better. Okay? And when you try to become better, you're trying to learn more, you try to achieve more, you try to do more. Okay?
They are taking these first steps in the right direction because they have this really big goal, but they forget that with that really big goal comes the even longer delay that it takes to get there. When you're growing in a business, it's very painful. When you're stagnating in a business and you're plateaued and you don't know what to do, it's very painful. When you're declining and you also don't know what to do, it's very painful. And so that means that all conditions of reality are painful. And so if pain is a prerequisite for reality, then it means...
And the pain is a prerequisite for reality, because without you are trying to make your reality, or make a prerequisite of making your reality, then you might never know what pain, what struggle, what being you are trying to become.
It's just a signal that
And you don't know what reality you are trying to signal to.
we are alive. And so in thinking about that, rather than pain as a problem, it is a signal that I'm breathing, and then becomes irrelevant. You know, in the beginning, you're like, I feel bad. And then you think that that should weigh on the decision of whether you do the thing that you're supposed to do. And then you start realizing that you can do the thing even though you don't feel good about it. And you start hypertrophying it. But I think the ultimate version of the hypertrophy, when the muscle becomes a tendon or it just becomes fused, is when you don't even consider how you feel. It's just not a thought. You just do it. Champions just interpret anxiety as excitement. And if you're excited to go up, then you're like, I'm amped, versus I'm stressed. But it feels the same. The way you frame it totally changes how you feel when you're stepping on stage. But my 2 cents of, if you are feeling lots of anxiety, it means you need to practice more. That's just my 2 cents. And that comes for everything, whether it's to have a meeting or give a presentation or write an email or do a book. Like if you feel nervous before you release it, then you probably didn't work on it enough. And I think the reality is that most people, to get not.
And when you didn't work on it enough, then you think that the reality that most people is not to get anxious, it's to feel the dream, it's to be accomplished, it's to do more than what you are trying to say, do, think, and what you are.
Not anxious about whatever they're doing. You have to do it so many times that by the last time you're doing it, you're bored of it. Like you don't even want to see the thing again. When you're sick of it is the point where you'll have no adrenal response to the stimulus because you've seen it so many times. You could do it in your sleep.
I'll be right back.
Because you hate it at this point.
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work. Want to be a part of it? Listen up.
Hello.
And if we think of confidence as the percentage likelihood of what we think is going to happen will happen.
Everything with confidence of the percentage likelihood of what we think is going well and going to happen, then you may never know where this life will lead you to. Without confidence, without persistence, without action, without thoughts, without doing more, we may never know where this life will lead us to. And where this life will lead you to is the better version of what you are trying to become. And through this better version, through this persistence, through this unwavering action, then you may never know where this life will lead you to. Which is the best part about the unknown, void, and confidence and persistence, is that you might never know until you build stacks of confidence, stacks of persistence, stacks of consistency, without knowing what you are truly trying to achieve, grow, and become.
As a predictive metric, then in order to be more confident, we want to have more proof that what we think will happen will happen. And so the easiest way to do that is to do it a lot of times. And so it would be reasonable to say that you're confident that it will go the way you want because it has gone the way you've wanted. The leading indicator of a successful person is the ability to act without anything happening. And when you continue down that path, it happens slower than you expect and then faster than you can imagine. And I think that's the part that everyone misses, is they expect the faster than they can imagine, and they imagine really big. And so then their expectations are really big, really fast, but they take the intensity.
When you have bigger standards, bigger dreams, bigger goals, then it will take intensity to make those happen, to make those come true. Because without the intensity, you may never know where this life will lead you to. And where this life will lead you to, you may never know what will happen within this future life. So let's continue.
And they don't apply it to a timeline that's appropriate. The path of personal development is befriending uncertainty. You always have to be the person who roots for you before everyone else does. And it's usually a single clap in the auditorium for a very long period of time. It is a slow clap that's just you rooting for you. I think most people feel really lonely when you want something that doesn't currently exist. And so some people call that dreams, some people call that goals, whatever it is. You're trying to pull something from your mind into reality, and you want it done a certain way. And if it's not done that way, it's not what you imagined. And so people on the outside will throw stones, and
when they throw stones, call you names, because it's not what you imagine, not what you dream, not what you state, not what you do more. Because when people outside throw criticisms, throw names, throw stones at you, you don't see that dream. They don't see that version. They don't see that reality that you are trying to make. So don't allow other people's criticism to dictate your own. Allow yourself to become more, become that version, become that understanding, become that dream, because you know you can be more.
Call you names that they think will change your behavior and get you to stop. And the more I have been the person trying to pull things into reality, the more I've tried to weather and build kind of defenses against those things, so that when those stones get hurled at you by being called a control freak, or by saying you micromanage things, or that you have incredibly high standards? The answer is yes, because I want it done right the first time. People criticize because it helps them justify the risks they chose not to take, in the hopes that it'll dissuade you from doing it so that you can be in the exact same position as them, which then justifies that they made the right call. There's this period of discomfort when you change anything because everyone around you wants you to fit within the label that they are comfortable with. People don't like that. And so they're like, no, I like you in this box. So just.
No, I like you in this box because they don't see the version. They don't see the dream. They don't see the goal. They don't see the reality that you are trying to build for yourself. So don't allow other people's criticism, other people's identity, other people's beliefs based around your criticism, based around your standards, based around your vision, based around your dreams. And you did all the fears of the time that they to be sitting. I know you never know me if I wasn't. It's just a base shit, and the face shit, cause we hate it. When time we run away with, when the thought we take it, when the places, when the gonna face shit. And when I name this, and they fadeless. What's your name, Marie? When I really wanna leave. That's my drugs. I'm getting higher than my weed. I'm gonna no more lean. Nighttime. I never know your dreams. Nighttime. I never know your. Colder. Faded.
And they just want to shove you back into it. And there's a lot of uncomfortable conversations that you have to have where.
There are uncomfortable conversations because without uncomfortable conversations, you may never know what that conversation will lead to. You may never know what it will happen, what they will say next. So have those uncomfortable conversations because without you, you are nothing without your vision of yourself that you are trying to build, obtain, and do.
It becomes really socially awkward.
What would you tell a man who can scroll for hours but can't work for 10 minutes and hates himself for it every night?
If you're going through that right now, and I promise you, every single person who wants to do something with their life and has done something with their life has gone through the exact chapter that you're going through.
And it's the lonely chapter. Without the lonely chapter, you don't become different. You become more evolved. You become more interesting. You become more attentive. You become more yourself. So don't allow other people's lonely chapter to dictate what your chapter of your life is going through now. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense, because that makes sense to me.
And it's the lonely chapter. It's the chapter where you don't fit in with your own friends, but you don't have the outcomes yet to fit into a new group of friends.
You don't have the outcomes yet to fit into a new group of friends because you are different than everybody else. And when you're different than everybody else, then you may never know where this life will lead you to.
And you're doing this thing, you're consuming content on the internet, and you're going through this and you're like, is this even worth it? Because you have no signs of success, right? But if there's anything that you can take away from what we're saying right now is that the sign of success is the hate that you...
The sign of success is the hate that you get along the way. So don't bend the conformity, bend the knee, bend the understanding. Because without this understanding, you may never know what knee is bending, what snowball you're compacting into your own standards of conversations, of dreams, of beliefs, of whatever it is you're trying to build, whatever it is you're truly trying to state, whatever it is you're truly trying to believe, because you know you can be more. And when you are more, then you know that you can achieve the dreams, the goals, the successes, the hate, the belief, the understanding, because you know you can be more. Understood? Understood.
Get along the way. And what you can't do is bend the knee to their hate and fit back into the conformity because it's comfortable and it's warm because you've been down that road and you know exactly where it leads. And I know that's not where you want to be. It's like the best way to guarantee to not have the life that you want is to do what everyone else is doing. Unless you want what everyone else has, which no one does. The skills that you develop along the way, those early days, that little trench winning in the weeds, oftentimes gives you these huge advantages later on because you have more context than anyone else. And so rather than lament them and hate the fact that you're going through it, remembering that these will be arrows that you put in the quiver that you're going to be using to slay the future bigger dragons.
And when you slay those future bigger dragons, you know you can do more, obtain more, think more, act more, because you are trying to become more. And when you are trying to become more, then you are trying to state that you are trying to achieve more. Okay, those are the arrows and the quiver that you will slay within those bigger and future dragons, because you know you can handle them. You know you can say to them, you know you can do more with them. You can achieve more with them. So let's continue.
And so expecting it to be easy is what makes it much harder than it ever is. My personal goal is to squeeze every ounce of potential out of whatever I have. And I think that if you feel like you have potential left over, then it will eat you alive until you do something about it. I'd say one of the strongest mental frames that has gotten me through my hardest times is thinking this will be the story that I will one day tell. And that means the harder it is, the bigger the dragon, the more epic the story, and by consequence, the more epic the hero. And if you think about the difference between winners and losers, winners define themselves by what they made happen, and losers define themselves by what happened to them. And the difficult part of the lonely chapter is that the Rocky cutscene lasts 90 seconds in the movie and lasts 5 years in reality. It's rarely the information or the intensity that makes things hard.
Whatever intensity and information you're trying to learn, achieve, grow, become, that is the story that you are going to one day tell. That is the one characteristic that you are trying to take for granted, that you are trying to understand, that you're trying to believe, that you're trying to do more. Without doing more, you may never know what this life will lead you to. Which is the best part about the unknown and the void, in my personal opinion, is that without not knowing where you're truly trying to go, then you may never know where you are truly trying to achieve.
It's the sticking with it that makes it hard. And so the desire that we have to quit is simply breaking the consistency. And so that's why consistency has always been the hardest thing for most people to achieve. But the intensity of what you have to do to be successful is much lower than most people expect. And so oftentimes they suffer significantly more in a short period of time than is required to be successful over a much longer period of time with a much lower intensity. Many people want to be exceptional, but they're afraid of being an exception. I think it's wanting an outcome without the requirement that the outcome has. And so we can't do the same thing that everyone else approves of and then somehow get a different outcome than everyone else does. A great portion of our identity comes from the proof that we give ourselves of the things that we've done and said in the past. And so if we want to build towards a different version of ourselves, then it begins with stacking evidence that aligns with that future self. And so in some ways, take the shot, get rejected. It is a zero-loss game by choosing to begin.
You don't know what an AI workman.
Alright, that's all I have for you guys. Save and like to come back to this video. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so whenever I post. And most importantly, check out my school. I'm keeping it free for the next 10 days. And I will put a price tag on it. $70, $130, and $200. Those are the 3 tiers for the prices. I'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, stay unique and stay you. Peace. Midnight,